So if we really look at it as a resource, it creates a huge opportunity of how we manage and use sanitation into the future.
I asked the question...
So one of the aspects at the Water Research... Yes.
Mr. Bhagwan, I asked the question with my tongue in my cheek, but as you're pointing out, it is in fact a very serious problem. So essentially, we need a sanitation revolution.
Yes, exactly. We need a disruption, we need a revolution around sanitation, and we need to end this madness around flushing all this valuable fresh water and polluting it. And that's about it. We use about 40% of all our water, flushing and conveying this human excreta down to through a whole network of sewers to treatment plants. And what we're saying is that can we not invent solutions that would eliminate the need for flushing the human excreta and find solutions that can treat it on site?
Just to paint a picture, how many liters of water would the average flush use? And do newer inventions like newer toilets that give you options for less water usage depending on your activity, are those helpful at all?
Yes, so what we're seeing is that on average a family of 4 uses about 20 flushes a day, and with the systems we have in place, that ranges from between 7 to 12 liters of flush. Once you flush it leaves your property, but you need a whole lot of other water from other activities in your house to actually transport this through the sewers. So what we've been working on is that we're saying that we can disrupt the space. We can offer the same amount of convenience. So at the Water Research Commission, we are in the forefront of developing one of the first low flush systems on the market, which flushes with 1 liter. And we're trying to push that barrier to below a half a liter flush. And what this does is that it opens up many opportunities and options. Reactors, human waste. Starting to see many of these innovation emerging for the market.
Talk about treating water at source. Just to contextualize the problem, particularly for South Africa, I mean, we are a water-stressed country. We've got a growing population and an economy, hopefully, that will grow in years to come. We are becoming more constrained, I suppose, and added to that, we've got collapsing infrastructure, and it's not designed to cater for the population numbers that we are now seeing. And many of our rivers are, in fact, infested with beyond acceptable levels of E. coli.
Yeah, so, the kind of revolution we are promoting and driving speaks exactly to those challenges. Because what we're saying is that if we are able to take that part of the equation out in the kind of modern civilization, the equation of wastewater as a pollutant, and talk about human excreta as a resource, then we take out the need and we actually put back 40% of fresh water, huge amount that would greater security requiring water going into the future. The second part is that we also remove the pollutant pathway needs, new sewers and new wastewater treatment plants, replacing or new infrastructure. It is driving new thinking, normal, new way that we need to evolve as industry responding and saying drive innovations the future around water and water quality.
It presents an exciting opportunity because if sanitation were to go off the grid, as you say, it could create opportunities to build new economies, it would fuel new jobs, perhaps even new expertise. And I suppose Africa has a particular advantage in terms of being able to skip a step in a way. Instead of planning from scratch, we've got the freedom of not having the burden of retrofitting. What opportunities could Africa bring to the situation as an innovator in the direction that you mentioned?
So, you know, trying to avoid going down the same pathways and the wicked problems as the West, going off the grid gives us the opportunity to leapfrog, to not have good and accessible sanitation and create some kind of uniform levels of service, whether you're rich or poor. But from an economy perspective, the Department of Trade and Industry, our government, the Department of Water and Sanitation, and the Department of Science and Technology have already taken a policy decision around driving off the grid sanitation as a huge potential job creator and an industrial platform for the country. So we have a policy, we have the mechanisms in place, we have to drive the innovation agenda, we have to drive the industrial agenda, and we see that this has the potential to create a whole new industrial platform, but on the back of it, create a whole lot of jobs and micro enterprises and entrepreneurs that would service a very new way of providing sanitation into the future.
All right, we'll have to leave our conversation there. That was the Executive Manager at the Water Research Commission, Mr. Jay Bhagwan, joining us in our Pretoria studios.